in a normally quiet neighborhood, it was kind of shocking to walk out and see this kind of mass crowd forming and coming in and out of the subdivision. So my husband and I immediately said, we might want to call the police. And as soon as we're saying that, we see the police actually come into the subdivision. Within another 5 to 10 minutes, we watched the police circle the block and leave. And you immediately started teens just continued to fill the neighborhood. You could clearly see students or children walking with bottles, cans, appeared to be intoxicated. Some were yelling, and then we started to see
Yelling
accidents.
what? Yelling what, Gina?
They were yelling things like, "Oh, don't get drunk, kids," just appearing intoxicated and holding what looked like hands up in the air. So you could see this was starting to get rowdy as in the streets. And then within a few minutes of that, we started seeing accidents. So now they're jam-packed in this neighborhood. Some are trying to get in and out of the subdivision. You can't even turn off the main road, and they start rear-ending one another. They might hop out quickly, look, and then they're driving away from these accidents. We hear another accident down the road, and then within seconds, we start seeing groups of teens jumping over our back fence. So coming out of our backyard, jumping into our front yard, running into cars. And I said, this is getting out of control. We've got to call 911. And we need the police back here. And that's when I made my call. And when I made that call, I didn't know at the same time the attack on Preston and the other young boys was taking place at that same exact time.
With me is Gina Pignatello, who is speaking out. A boy is dead. And can I tell you, Preston Lord is the age of my twins. Their whole life in front of them. But instead of graduating from high school and going on all these college tours I've got planned for them, it's over for him. And it's not just him that's gone. His parents' hopes, their dreams, all their energy, all their love, all their money into their boy, Preston Lord. When did you learn, Gina Pignatello, that a boy had been essentially stomped dead in your neighborhood?
Yeah, my neighbors and I actually didn't learn the details until Monday. So this occurred Saturday evening. And we didn't learn the details until Monday. We began kind of neighbors sharing text and the GoFundMe. Oh my goodness, this poor young man is fighting for his life. And then within a few hours, we learned that he had died. We could have never, imagined that in all of that
oh
chaos.
My stars, Gina, I don't know
happening.
if you can see the screen right now, but we're showing a picture of Preston Lord, and he's got on a little boutonniere, like he's going to a dance. He's all dressed up. I just did that with John David and Lucy. She had a little wrist corsage, and he had a little boutonniere from his date he took to Sadie Hawkins' dance. The parents were in, it was their Super Bowl. Their son was coming into his own. All those years of love and nurturing, and now this. When you learned about what happened, Gina, what were you told? Did everybody know who did it?
Pretty immediately. I like to call them the kind of parents of the East Valley, began sharing and setting up. We've heard these names, we've seen these Snapchat messages. Groups started forming because we were getting no answers. But I can tell you within those first few days, that first week, the names we saw that were arrested were the same names we saw within those first few days. We heard about the families, like the Renners, taking their son to hide him up in the mountains to hide injuries. These parents that began gathering all this information, much of what was in the police report released just last week, we were learning and we're getting videos within that first week of this incident happening.